You've heard about Ruger's brand new Max-9 pistol, an optics-ready pistol giving you maximum capacity at a minimal package at an incredible value. But you want to know, how does it take apart? In this video, we're looking at what you need to do to field strip, clean, and lubricate the Ruger Max-9 pistol. What's up everybody, welcome Squad Squad and welcome to Slav Guns. I'm glad to have you here, as always. In the last few days, Ruger has entered the market with their take on an optics-ready concealed carry 9mm pistol. It has so far been quite reliable, a true pleasure to shoot, and an incredible value. Many of you have either purchased it already or interested in it, but want to know, how does the Ruger Max-9 pistol disassemble for cleaning? That is a great question, and that is what we're going to do today. The tools you will need are either a thin punch or something like a paper clip or even like this Allen wrench, along with your regular cleaning supplies such as your hoppies, your gun oil, and patches. Now, you can also use a 9mm bore snake instead as well. You will also find helpful something with a flat edge, such as either a small flathead screwdriver, a pocket knife, or even like the bottom of this brush. And honestly, if you want, you can use an edge of a pen cap, which is what I've been doing. Okay, so let's take the gun apart and then we'll discuss the when, how, and how often you should be doing this. As you're field stripping any gun, the first thing you want to make sure that you do is make sure that the gun is empty. So, rack the slide back, lock it open, drop the magazine, and ensure that there is nothing in the chamber. At this point, you can either rack the slide back or release the slide, and what you want to do is depress the trigger to release the striker. At this point, you're going to find that the Ruger Max-9 disassembles slightly in a different way than what you may be used to if you have a bunch of other pistols, let's say like the Ruger American Competition pistol or something like a CZ in 1911 and whatnot. The process is a little bit different, however, it is totally, completely doable and you don't need to take it to a gunsmith. So the first thing you want to find is that there's a port door right here, and you want to press it down to open it. So you can actually use your fingernail, and this is actually where I was suggesting something flat would help, as it'll help you put pressure on the entire plate. So I just did this, I just pushed it down. What you will find is that you will see a roll pin in here, and you'll see a cutout. So what we're going to need to do is push this back so that the roll pin will be able to come out. Much like if you're used to a Glock, I think the easiest way, and especially if you have a red dot, hold the gun this way, rack it back, and just hold it down in place to have the tension. On this side, you will see this port, and what you want to do is just press your pin in, and on this side, the roll pin is going to come out. So then just take out the roll pin and put it away. At this point, so you want to make sure you don't lose that. So at this point, you can just slide the gun off, and that is it. One of the things that you're going to find on this gun is that, as I pointed out in the detailed video, is you have a full-length frame rail here, and that's actually what helps maintain really good accuracy. Okay, so that is as far as you need to take down the frame, and then you have the slide with the barrel and the recoil spring. So at this point, you can wear gloves if you want to, you don't need to. Press back on the back of this recoil spring and move it up and out of the way. At this point, like with any gun, press the barrel in, up, and out of the way. And those are going to be the three main components. So you're going to have your barrel, your captured recoil spring and guide rod, and your slide. So from the factory, the Max-9 came very lightly lubricated, and there was no shipping grease that you would often find in some of the Glocks and some of the Sigs that I've seen. So realistically, you could just take the gun and you can go shoot it. It is helpful. I think it's going to be helpful for you to understand how the gun works. Just make sure that you do take it apart and start cleaning it. So here, there's going to be a couple places where you want to be concerned. So you want to make sure that the frame rails are all good, and you're going to want to lubricate clean around here, and you want to make sure that you don't have any crap debris right on here where the striker gets released. So somebody was asking, this is definitely a metal guide rod, it's not plastic. Okay, and then basically here you have the top of the slide, and what you want to make sure that's going to be clean is the breech face. This is where the firing pin is. You want to make sure that there's no crap here. You want to make sure that there's going to be empty space here underneath the extractor, and you want to make sure that everything here is clean along the rails. Before cleaning, you generally don't want to use gun oil to clean. You want to use a cleaner or like a CLP type product. The one I've been using is Hops number 9. I've been using this stuff for the last 15-16 years, as long as I've been a gun owner. Cheaply priced, good price. It's available pretty much anywhere. Since I have a couple hundred rounds for the gun, just to kind of demonstrate, what we'll usually do is take a couple swabs, patches I mean. Okay, I'll clean the barrel from the outside just to get any schmutz off. Okay, area you want to look here is here where the guide rod hits on the back of the gun, and here where it locks up. And the other place usually sometimes that'll get filthy depending on how bad of an ammo you're using is right here, and this is the feed ramp. So you want to make sure it's clean. Some people will go out of their way to polish it. This one actually has been fine. And the other thing you want to make sure is that you do look for the bore to make sure that there's no obstructions. When you're cleaning the bore, you can use a bore brush if you want. A bore snake if you want. You can use a traditional, I don't have it readily here, but you'll have like a guide rod with a jag that you're going to push through the patch. Do you necessarily need to do that? It's debatable. I think it's more important to clean the parts where you actually have the friction in this. The one exception is if you're shooting lead bullets, you absolutely want to make sure that you're cleaning because, and it's not a major issue here because you have regular rifling and not polygonal rifling. But let's say, for example, if you have a barrel that's polygonal rifling with the short rifling, you have very short angles on there. What happens is, especially if you're shooting soft lead bullets, it's going to start getting caught up on the walls, and then it could lead up, and that has in the past led to kabooms. But if you're shooting full metal jacket bullets, it's generally not going to be an issue, and definitely not on the standard rifled barrel. Cool. So we're going to clean this. Okay. Next, let's do the slide rails. So I'm cleaning the top. One area that's usually helpful is right inside sometimes, depending on how crappy the ammo is shooting, inside the mag well there, you're going to get debris. And you can see that the patch does get dirty. Okay. And once again, I'm looking for any unexpected wear, any cracks type developing, because most of those issues can be avoided. Okay, everything looks good. Okay, and then the last place that you're going to be cleaning is going to be the slide, and once again here I just clean inside. And then right here in the channel where that's going to go up against that, and in here you want to make sure that you don't have any debris. So we'll use a different patch. Okay. Sometimes to kind of get into the crevices, if you have a pin punch, that's helpful. I don't like brushes, and the reason why is sometimes you'll have a bristle that gets loose and it'll just get in there, and you definitely don't want to do that. Okay. So that's good enough for government work. Okay. And once you have a couple hundred rounds through here, you'll actually start seeing all the places where things rub, and that's where you want to make sure that you are going to be lubricated. Alright, so the gun, I'm considering it clean. Since I have a patch. What I find helpful sometimes with this, just hold the patch in there and then just rotate the spring. So basically clean. Cool. Alright, next. So we've cleaned the gun. Let's talk about lubrication. So you want to make sure that you use a good oil, and that's going to prevent friction between all the moving components, and also, especially when the gun is new, you want to make sure everything wears in exactly as it's supposed to. Lubrication is going to be, I think, a little bit more critical on competition type guns, where you have much tighter tolerances between all of the parts. With a combat type gun, which has looser tolerances, and that's how it's designed for reliability, and quote unquote, that's how the Glocks do it, it's going to be less critical. One of the things you want to make sure that you do is you don't go crazy with oil, because the more oil you're going to have in there as you're shooting, and especially if you're shooting outside, that oil is going to act almost like a glue, and it's going to attract a lot of foreign objects that shouldn't be in there, and that's going to help gum up the gun quite a bit faster. The oil that I'm currently using is the Lucas Extreme Gun Oil. It has worked quite well, and I like it. I mean, if it works for car engines, it's perfectly fine for a firearm. We do have a discount code where you can pick this up, and there'll be a discounted link in the description box below. And if you are a Squad member, there is an additional discount that is available for supporting members. So with oil, you see that it comes with this needle, which is going to make it perfect for putting it exactly where you want. So generally, where I put it is going to be a little bit on the frame rails. Just a few drops. You don't need anything crazy. Okay. And here, inside the frame rails, just a bit, don't go crazy. And then on top here, where it rides and you see the contact. That's basically it for here. The only other place where I'm going to put it is here. Just a smidge. Because that is basically where the barrel is going to get locked up. And if you want, you can put a tiny little bit where the recoil spring is going to go. So, to put this back together, it's the reverse. You take your slide, you put your barrel in there. Simple as that. Then you take your guide rod. This part is going to go towards the back. Put it in. Press it in slightly, and it's going to align right back into the channel. So you can see it here. That is going to go up against that. Okay. Then, put the rails on. Cycle it a few times so that the lubricant can get, so the oil can get all over. Make sure there's nothing catching. And then you just have the inverse process of putting in this pin. So, and this is actually easier to do it from this side. So, push the slide back, so where you have that hole for the pin and this notch. Hold it in. Press it down, press the pin in all the way, and it's going to go. And you can basically see when it's in there and the slide is all the way forward, you can't push that pin out. Well, it's not going to go anywhere. Okay. Then at this point, what you can do is use your flat end cap, and I'll show you how to use the pen. So what I'm going to do is just from the bottom, push it up, and it's locked in. So in this way that there's no way that the pin can come out. Okay. Once you have it, rack the slide a few times. Make sure that the oil is evenly distributed. Make sure there's nothing hanging up. And then function test the gun. And the way we do that is make sure you pull the trigger. Striker goes off. Hold the trigger in. Reset the slide. Trigger resets. You can pull it again, and that's it. If you have a safety, this is where you would use your external safety to make sure that the safety works, and then you are set. So let me actually show from this way. I'm not a lefty. Okay. Pull the trigger in. Works. Hold the trigger in. Rack the slide. Let the trigger out. It up to the wall to the reset. Pull the trigger. Brakes. Perfect. And you are good. So now you've successfully cleaned and field stripped, cleaned, inspected, lubricated, and put the gun back together. One other thing that you want to do is clean the magazines. So generally, once again, you don't need to clean them often, but the process is going to be the same. Generally, if the magazine, for me personally, if the magazine hits the ground, I do clean it. So this is where your punch is going to be helpful. Do note that you have the 10 round and the 12 round magazines. Both of these bodies are exactly the same. The difference is going to be the base pad, but also here you can see that the part that goes in the bottom of the base pad is different as well. But the process to take it down exactly the same. So press in to relieve the pressure on the base pad. Move it down, and you're good. This is just going to come out. And then here, what I'm doing is cleaning the follower. You want to make sure that there's nothing on the spring, no dirt, no debris. And you're good. So these mags never hit the ground, so you're good. The other one is you want to look inside of the magazine body to make sure that there's no debris. And you can once again use your patch and do that. One really good investment if you have other guns is going to be a magazine brush such as this, because then you can just do this in a match environment or anytime you're at the range. And this, especially for such smaller magazines, is really going to clean every single nook. Pretty much every USPSA player, well, every USPSA or gun gamer is going to have one of these in their range bags. This is probably my third or fourth one. Not because they wear out, it's because somebody borrows one and it never seems to come back. So that's this magazine. The 12 round magazine is the exact same way, so let me actually use the bore brush. And this is actually perfect for it because there's a hole. Press it in. Let me do it this way. Press it down to relieve the pressure on the base pad. Because these are a little bit deeper, you need to push it in more. Make sure you keep your thumb here and point the magazine away from you. Because I've seen them, if they're under tight pressure, it'll go right into your face. But exact same thing. Clean that. If you don't have a bore brush, clean inside. Like I said, you just want to make sure that there's no burrs in there. You want to make sure that there's no dirt or grime. If you shoot in an environment like sand or gravel, you'll find anytime it hits, because even though you have like these witness holes, you have these bang catches, dirt and crap is going to get into the magazine body, and then the worst thing that can happen is it's going to create friction and the follower is going to hang up, and you're going to pull the trigger, and then the follower is going to get caught and you're not going to be able to feed that round. So you want to make sure that the magazines are clean. I know people will say, oh, I never clean my Glock magazines. Well, you're an idiot. Or you shoot in an indoor range and you've never properly used your gun. But you definitely want to make sure that the magazines are clean. And once again, if you have the brush, it's really easy. Just do it a couple of times. Perfectly clean. And that's that. So to put the magazine back together, actually, since we're talking here, so as you can see, you cannot put if you have this bottom of the spring and follower, you cannot put on the 10 round base pad because of this pattern here. It's an oval rather than a circle. So, but the mag bodies are interchangeable. To put it back together, put it in, put some pressure on it, then put the base pad on, it'll retain it, boom, and you just want to make sure that that retainer is popping out here to hold the follower. Movement is okay as long as it doesn't just fly off. So that's that guy. To put the 10 round magazine back together, you can just put it the exact same way. And if you wanted to put the pinky extension on, there we go. This is a good opportunity. Like I said, these are both exact same. These pinky extensions are made for 10 round magazines. And they both have that same pattern. They have the same hole on the bottom. Just put it in. Put it in, and just want to make sure that once again, this is here. And that's that. Perfect. So the question is, when should I take the gun apart for cleaning? The first time is immediately after you get home, and then it depends. When you purchase a firearm, be it brand new, used, it's good practice to take the gun apart to clean it. Most firearms come lubricated. However, with some guns, they will come with shipping grease or other rust preventative solvents, which, while they do a good job for keeping the gun operable, will quickly attract dirt as you shoot it. Therefore, you want to clean the gun and lubricate it as you wish. Secondly, it is also a great opportunity to take the gun apart and inspect it for any manufacturing issues or defects, and that's especially critical for used firearms. After that, it really depends on how often you shoot the gun, how many rounds you shoot, and what kind of ammunition. I think many first-time gun owners either go overboard and clean the gun after every range trip, or completely the opposite, they never clean their guns. With a firearm such as the Max-9, I plan on cleaning it after every 500 rounds or so, or if any issues pop up. What will impact this is going to be the number of rounds that you shoot, and more particularly whether you shoot exposed lead bullets, moly-coated bullets, and to the lesser degree full metal jacket, which still has an exposed lead base. If you're shooting hollow points, plated bullets, or TMJ, that's total metal jacket, or something, sometimes it's even called CMJ, complete metal jacket, then you'll find yourself cleaning the gun less frequently as there is no exposed lead from the bullet anywhere near the gunpowder as it's being fired. And this is also partly why which I'll generally shoot strictly plated or hollow point ammunition, and if you care about your health, you probably should too. The other time you want to make sure that you clean your gun is if you know you're not going to be shooting it for a while. So think 2 weeks or more or so. In that case, you want to clean the gun to prevent any corrosives from sticking on the gun and lubricate things so things don't seize up, and it'll also help prevent rust. As for magazines, well, that's totally up to you. I know many people who never clean their magazines, and I know of many, including myself, that will, in a match or in competition environment, we will clean the magazine after every time it hits the ground. And that is also going to depend on the soil composition. Are you shooting somewhere where it's sandy? Is it fine gravel? In which case you want to clean it often. Or is it going to be a grass environment? There's a big difference. Overall though, feel free to field strip and clean your gun anytime you want, as it'll help you get intimately more familiar with the firearm. So, that is how you field strip the brand new Ruger Max-9 pistol. Now go ahead and take a look at the complete playlist of Ruger pistols linked down here, or click up here to watch my detailed review of this gun if you haven't done so yet. As always, I really appreciate you watching, and if this is your first time watching our videos, thank you for joining. Go ahead and click the like button and share the video with your friends, and make sure you're subscribed to receive up-to-date notifications on our latest videos, including the follow-up to this gun. And if you enjoy this channel and you want to see more content and you want to help keep it going, please join the Squad, our YouTube channel membership. You'll have a direct saying what content is coming up, a direct line to me, some cool swag, and discounts to a number of awesome vendors. You can find more information by clicking on the join button down below. As always, thank you for watching, keep on squatting, and I'll see you in the next video.